Well, Jim Wood of SEG Solar, I am very excited to talk to you about what's new in SEG's world. But before we get in there, quick intro. You have been one of the OGs in the solar industry for probably 15, 20 plus years at this point. And along with some colleagues that you started the solar industry with 10, 20 years ago, you guys have a really unique position in the market, having bootstrapped an American solar panel manufacturer, starting in the U.S. with a foot in Asia. You are a really unique animal, if I can call that, in the industry. I think I would like to start with that unique beginnings of SEG to kind of set the stage of what you guys do.
Okay.
And then talk a little bit about what's new in the world of solar panel manufacturing.
Okay. Yeah, happy to.
Tell us a little bit of how SEG started, where its roots, how far back it goes, and how it came together, and how you guys have managed to be a global bootstrapped American company.
Yeah, so prior to SEG, a number of the folks at my company, we all worked together at another module company.
Yep.
And so that module company was acquired by one of the largest module companies in the world. And so we quickly found ourselves wanting to do something else. And so as a group, myself, June, who's our COO, was Chief Technology Officer at the other company we worked at. Michael Eden, our Chief Legal Officer, came with us. CFO, procurement team.
Yep.
We were all working at Company A, and then, a month, 2 months later, we were starting, and we started SEG Solar here in the U.S. So that was 8 years ago. Been in the industry now for a little bit over 20 years. Originally started out on the installation side, former NABCEP certified installer. So got my startup on the roof. And did lots of solar thermal back in the day, and originally started working early on with Trina Solar. Then was at ET Solar for a number of years to help that company get launched in the U.S., get on the Tier 1 list, all that good stuff.
And SEG is now an international company with operations in Asia as well as U.S. So can we talk a little bit about how that evolution happened? Were you first manufacturing here, first manufacturing in Asia? And how are you positioned right now in terms of market mix of your customers and how that has evolved over the past 8 years, and also now with the new administration and all the changing dynamics, how it's looking?
Yeah. So we originally started out again. We're a team here in the U.S. and we leveraged contract manufacturing. So we started selling modules using contract manufacturing in Southeast Asia.
Yep.
As we continued to grow as a company, we never took any profits out of our company. So everything unfortunately didn't get paid a whole lot at the beginning, and still today don't get paid that much. But
you've been investing into
reinvesting. So everything's kind of rolled back into the business, and we have our own facilities in Indonesia, and we're at the point now out of Houston where we're shipping about 5,000 modules a day. I think are shipping out of Houston. So it's it's slow progress out of Houston, but it's consistent, and that's really what we need. I don't need to ramp up and slow down. We need to keep it consistent and disciplined growth.
Do you guys have customers in Asia, Europe, as well as the U.S.?
Yeah. So in Indonesia, there's a domestic content requirement, and so we do supply the Indonesian market with modules. We do have our largest customers here in the U.S. are large Spanish IPPs, and so our secondary market is Spain. We do sell modules into Spain, but the U.S. is our primary market. I mean, we do most of our business here. We do quite a bit of business through distribution, residential, but we do large utility projects as well.
So when I used to run a distribution company, Civic Solar, people used to ask us, so how did you guys carve your market share? Because there's so many players trying to do that. And in a way, I can ask you the same question. How the hell did you manage to carve a respectable market share in a super competitive market like panel manufacturing?
Yeah, so
especially in the U.S.
Yeah, we really don't have the OpEx that a lot of our competitors do.
Yeah.
So we had the advantages of when we started, technology was pretty reliable at that point. P-type was very reliable, and so as we didn't have to have the huge fumbles, we didn't have to have the huge workforce that other folks again leverage pushed a lot of contract manufacturing when we began in our office in Nanjing. We have a number of employees in Indonesia, and then here in the U.S. we employ about 300 plus folks in Houston, and then obviously sales and other roles kind of scattered throughout.
And what makes you guys unique in the eyes of the customer?
Yeah, so we as a company, we've never really, we don't have a lot of customers. We have our customers always kind of come back to us. And so I worked at other very large tier one suppliers. We would sell to somebody and they'd go away and we wouldn't see them for years. In general, our customers buy from us and keep buying from us. There's a little different being a U.S.-based, U.S.-owned company. We have real assets here. We have to deliver our contracts. We can't, there's no renegotiating contracts unless, there's some sort of change in law or tariff or something like that. So, we have to fill our deals. We can't run away. And so, we have a consistent history where, maybe somebody bought modules somewhere else. Modules got detained in port. They couldn't build their project, or tariff modules didn't come into the U.S. And so we've always delivered. And so those customers keep coming back. They might go look somewhere else, and then even today we have lots of conversations, and we see them come back.
And product mix wise, you guys going back to 8 years ago, did you start in the resi side of the market or the utility side? How did that product mix evolve over time, and what does it look like now, and what are some dynamics in the market that you're seeing right now?
Yeah, so I think we started out almost 100% utility. So we had a few utility deals early on. Duke Energy was a longtime customer of mine in previous lives, and they continued to work with us as we started this gig. And so, we had some really good large utility business customers that worked with us. Very grateful for those folks. And so, starting out, we were just doing a few large utility transactions a year. As things grew for us, we started playing in distribution. It's been a long game for us. We never looked at distribution as something that we wanted to get involved with and then step out of. So for us, distribution's taken about 6 years really for us to get going. We don't sell around distribution. We don't sell any residential modules direct. 100% of our residential supply goes through distribution.
And who are those distributors?
Green Tech, Sonepar, U.S. Renewables are our primary distribution partners here in the U.S. We have a few other ones. Cranich sells our product as well. So we have a few. We have kind of our three national distributors, and then we have some more, I would call them more regional focused distributors that we do work with. And
how do you target the C&I market? Do you go direct? Do you go through distribution? A little bit of both? And then product-wise?
Yeah, I would say, with the large C&I customers, we do have a history of selling to them directly. So, I would say like historically, if there was, probably 20 plus megawatts or something like that, we did sell those direct. But we do a lot of that business through distribution still. We have some unique modules to our offering that are a little bit smaller. So, for those companies that don't want to use, big 595s or whatever on their roof or 630s, we do make a smaller footprint module.
What's the benefit of that in this day where panels have been getting bigger and bigger and big? When I entered the industry in 2009, I think the largest panel was 250 watts. Now, what is it?
Yeah, well, I think when you look at loading, you look at hail, you look at, all these different things in different regions, and you just look at, I started on the installation side.
Right.
The thought of me carrying a 630 up on the roof or a 730 on a utility site or, even a 595, if there's any wind, if they're 2-person, OSHA 2-person handles anyways or more. And so I just looked at it from my perspective. If I was working on the roof, what can I handle and manage as a human? And so that's kind of where it originated. As you look at commercial rooftops, lots of penetrations, so it gives you more design flexibility with a kind of a smaller footprint. And we're not talking a lot smaller, but we're just,
what's the size?
The 495s. It's like it's a 60 cell.
Yeah, 495.
It's a 60 cell module, so it's in between kind of a resi and a 595 in size. But we have excellent. It's a niche. And we have excellent traction with it.
And I assume that's an increasing percentage of your business now with resi and commercial.
Yeah, so we definitely see our commercial business has been thriving. We've been focused on it. Again, we didn't play the short game. So in 2022, when there was a shortage of residential modules, we didn't sell them direct. We still continued to sell those through distribution. And so that long-term disciplined approach to distribution, again, has paid off for us. And again, we've never there's never been a case where we've sold around distribution. So we're very good about that.
Smart. So let's also talk a little bit about the changing legal tariff policy landscape with the new administration. What challenges do you see ahead? What opportunities do you see ahead? Does being a company with one foot in Asia, one foot in the US, understanding both markets really well, what kind of advantages does it give you and your customers?
It's a tough market no matter where you're at. And so for us and a number of other folks, we are US-based, US-owned, so we don't have any outside investment. And so there is some comfort. We do have customers that do work with us because they feel significantly more confident in our ability to deliver. They feel confident that there's real assets here in the U.S., that type of thing. And so again, we continue to see business. We actually just got a 120-something megawatt contract finished today. And so, we're still seeing our business grow because there is a sense of reliable deliveries coming out of kind of our Houston factory. The way we do it is we say, hey, if you want product out of Southeast Asia, we'll backstop it with product out of Houston. So that gives a lot of comfort as well. But it's challenging. I mean, I can't say, going into this year, glass last month versus this month, glass is going to cost me $500,000 more this month than it did last month. Aluminum, frames are going to cost more this month versus last month, and it's challenging. There's lots of conversations around domestic content. We have a sell agreement. We have some other stuff going for us here where we'll have sell in the U.S. next year, but it's challenging. Yeah,
and I assume that's affecting the market. The orders, especially the larger utility scale projects, seem to have slowed down a bit. I assume resi and commercial is a little bit more stable. How's that looking?
For us, I can't speak to other suppliers. I don't know that the pie is getting any bigger, but we've been doing better at, like I said, we're very good at retaining customers. We're very good at keeping who we have. We don't have a huge customer
list. How
come?
What's the secret sauce to that?
I guess, somebody picks up the phone. I mean, if you have a problem, you can always reach out to somebody at our organization. There's decisions don't take a week.
The phone. That is so important. That was actually the answer for us too. That was the reason we started our distribution company, because we called all the big distributors, this is 15, 16 years ago, and they didn't pick up we left voicemails. They returned 3 days later. That's really important.
Yeah. And so, I always tell folks that work with us, even on the distribution side, resi folks that are working with us, we won't sell to you, but if you have a problem, just reach out. And I think a lot of them have tested that, and whether they've texted me or emailed me or called me, they always get a call back. And so we have put a lot of focus on that. At least on my core team, we're very good and very responsive in that area.
Yeah. And you guys you have a major footprint in Houston, Texas, the land of energy for the U.S.
Yeah.
And with all this changing landscape, do the legislators and the policy leaders there, do they understand the importance of our industry for the future? And
I think they're starting to. Not just us, but a number of manufacturers have located in red states. And so as we reach out, not just individually, but together as a collective. So in Texas, a number of us actually collectively reach out to our elected officials. Our senator there in that region is Ted Cruz, so we obviously work very hard to get in front of him. Luttrell is actually my congressperson there in that region, so we're very active going individually, but when we come together collectively, I currently employ about 300 or so folks in Houston. We'll be about 100 more probably, in the coming months. But, you take other folks in that market. I don't want to say speak for them or their names, but, XYZ supplier has 800. This steel facility that's making, torque tubes for racking employs 400. And so when you look at the numbers, there are significant jobs being created in these red states.
Yeah.
And so, I think through that, communicating that to our elected officials is important, and that's really important for everybody in the industry to let their elected officials know what type of jobs are in their backyard.
So if people are in Texas, they should contact you to jointly do this lobbying effort. Are you aware of other states doing the same thing? Is there any coordination?
On a national level, obviously, you have SEA, you have ACP doing a phenomenal job on the advocacy side, reaching out. I'm in North Carolina. I'm very familiar with, there's a company very very close to me, a gentleman named Marcus runs called Strata Solar. Marcus is very involved with politically reaching out and doing advocacy in our state. So, we do see it regionally as well, but, I can only speak to what I see in Texas, and there are a number of us working together to work with our elected officials as a collective voice so that we can be heard. Again, a lot of people with a lot of jobs, they're important, and they don't want to lose those votes.
Yeah. Now, when I look at the solar panel manufacturing business as a whole and the products, they remind me of bottling plants, because in a way they're heavy products and transportation costs, and they're getting cheaper and cheaper. But the cost of glass is fixed. Cost of glass is probably not getting cheaper and cheaper, like panels are getting cheaper and cheaper over time, or at the same rate. So I think U.S. will need as many panel manufacturers as there are bottling manufacturing plants, is my sense on that. So I think it's really important for us to ramp up the solar manufacturing or the panel manufacturing side of the ecosystem here in the U.S. market. So as we come to the end of this conversation, if you could wish for anything from the universe this year, what would that be?
I would really just wish for stable policy and guidance, because number one, that's important for us to hire, grow, expand. How do you invest in more manufacturing in the U.S. without having clear knowledge of what will be available or not available? What issues are we going to have with tariffs, those types of things. So policy, at the end of the day, from a professional level. Outside of that, always grateful and happy to have a happy, healthy family and life. Always have a good balance with that, and I think it's the most important thing for anybody. So I wish that for all.
Yeah. Great. Well, Jim, thank you very much for your time.
All right.